Okay, my friends, here it is. This Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6, Northern Indiana. And we got a beautiful early summer day today. It's nice and foggy and overcast and humid. It's about to rain. We're planting all kinds of good stuff in the garden. I got tons of stuff to show you guys. We got lots to talk about. First things first, I want to give a shout out to a couple of young aspiring Vikings, Grayson the Destroyer and Tegan Two Limes. Hope you guys have a good day. So guys, let me know, where are you at? What do you got growing? What are you transplanting? I see some of you guys talking about it's a balmy like 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, you know, we could get that here. We could get that here. This is Northern Indiana, so we can get northern weather or southern weather. It's like, you know, either or. So right now, though, we've got let me show you the forecast real quick and my thought process behind why we're planting all the cold hardy stuff now. Because when you look, it's all about the weather, you know? So people ask, well, what date should I plant this and that out? Well, it's more about the weather, actually. So this is our forecast for the next 10 days, okay? So you can see here that the highs are moderate and the lows are moderate. We've only got this one day of 29 degrees, not a problem. And then we're pretty much safe from like the hard freezes. You know, there's no more in the teens and stuff like that. So right now, today and tomorrow, we're going to plant out all this stuff. We just planted the onions yesterday because look, we've got overcast and rainy and foggy for the next 10 days. And then probably the sun will come and there won't be any more rain all summer. Who knows if we're going to have one of those summers, but it's this is the time. So you want to look for a window like this, and then you want to start. Okay, you want to start because the plants, if you put them out, okay, so if we had like 5 days of sun and you know, wind and stuff, you put them out in that, they're going to kind of struggle. All right, they're going to kind of struggle. So they really like to acclimate in overcast and moisture. So plan it for a time, even if it's a little bit weak or so late. Wait for that rain or that moisture or that at least overcast. Wait for that to come. Okay, but otherwise, hold off, because that full blast sun is difficult for them, and they're gonna. I mean, they'll survive for the most part, but if you've hardened them off right, but. I mean, I didn't really have to harden them off at all, hardly. And so we are going to be, well, we planted out the onions yesterday. We got at least 150 Rosa di Milanos. We got probably, so we changed it a little bit because we so much like the Rosa di Milano onions, the red ones, that we said, okay, well, however many red ones we have is what we're going to plant. And then whatever remaining space is going to be the yellow of Parma. The yellow of Parma are great. They store all winter long, no problem. But you know, the rosas are just delicious. I mean, they're just so much. They're like sweeter. They're just different. So we've been growing. You know, I've been growing the yellow onions, real pungent yellow onions, for many years now, right in a row. And so, you know, I was growing the New York early. Those are a great variety, really pungent. They store all winter. The yellow of Parma is even better. They store all winter, really pungent. But the see, I grew the Weathersfield Red for several years, and it was okay. I mean, it was a red onion. It was better than the store-bought onions for sure. But it was like a red onion, you know. These Rosa Milanos are like, whoa, what is that? I mean, especially when they're lightly sauteed, a little bit caramelized, it like unlocks a whole new level of sweetness. Oh yeah. Yes. Meyer Lemon says nothing compares to the Rosa D's. I like that. I like that. Rosa D's. Yeah. So guys, what do you think of the new logo down here in the corner? New logo. And so here it is. If you guys watch my most recent video, then and you watched it all the way through to the end, then you know that the website is live. So if you guys are wanting some of that fertilizer, go ahead and grab some while we have it. I'm going to be continually making more, but it's I mean, I'm going to have to get on it big time next week because we already sold all the buckets that we have pre-made. So we will. But remember, guys, it's just me. Okay, it's just me basically, and so we ship on Mondays and Thursdays for the first part of the season. Once, like, you know, the rush of the spring planting is over, then we're probably only going to ship on Mondays, you know, or yeah, Tuesdays, so something like that. But we're only shipping once, twice a week. It's not like Amazon where you order it and then bam, by 5 a.m. in the morning you get it, you know, which that's great. I mean, I do that all the time, but we're not Amazon, okay? So it's not going to be like that. But yes, so guys, check out the website, gardenlikeaviking.com, okay? It took me a long time to learn how to do that. I built that website myself, not Squarespace and stuff. It's just crazy. I started with a blank screen, you know. So it's taken me months to learn the software. It's like a college level course of stuff that I've been doing. And but now that I've learned the software, it's unlocked so many new things that's going to happen with website, with course offerings, product offerings. So it's all coming into the vision is starting to materialize as far as, okay, how are you going to pay for the land? That's the main thing. How are you going to pay for the homestead? So that's all starting to kind of materialize. Yeah. So it's pretty exciting. And especially for someone like me that is not a tech guy, you know, I don't like care about the tech. I only care about it in so much as it's a tool to reach you guys. You know, that's what I care about. So there's this. Let's see here. And I thought I had another banner. So, whoops. Let's see. Okay. So let's see who is here. What do you guys got going on? Okay. Darlene. Oh, good. Okay. Because I got your email. It says finally figured it out and got on the website and signed up for the newsletter. That's right, guys. We even if you don't want fertilizer, hit up the website and go to the bottom. It says join the tribe, and where you get onto the email list. Now, mark my words, I'm not going to be blowing up your email with a bunch of useless clutter like so many people want to try and do. You don't need more useless emails. I don't, that's for sure. And so it's going to be like a monthly newsletter of things that you should be doing in your garden, things I'm doing in the garden, you know, easy to read. It'll definitely be worthwhile. Product updates, you know, or maybe like the people on the newsletter will get to know that the walking onions or this other new thing that we might be doing this year, if not this year, then definitely next year, will be available, you know, so you guys will get it first and stuff like that. So just do it. Just be a part of it. I won't blow up your email, I promise. So let's see here. Sam Potzik says, Nate, can I send another stamped envelope for an OG sticker? Check it out, guys. I mean, hopefully you're in the stack or you're in the other stack. I've got several stacks of you know, to send out to you guys. It's finally going to happen. Okay. So I've got this one pack of the OG stickers left. Okay. Because this one, you'll never see this one again. They are, it'll be kind of like this, some of them. Yeah. But then also, you know, well, it'll just be different. Even these ones will be different, definitely. But if you want to, yeah, you definitely can. But no, because I need to limit that kind of stuff. I'll do it to the guys that I said I would 4 months ago, but we can't be sending out envelopes one by one and stuff like that at this point. But we will for you guys. So what do you think of the logo? Man, remember when I was talking to you guys about like, guys, this guy is he wants payment 100% up front, you know, and everyone was like, no, don't do it. That's not how business works. And I was like that. I was like, well, that's not how it works. And so, but anyways, my heart was just like, do it. There was never even a question. It was like, this is the guy, this is the logo, just do it. It's no problem. That's what my gut was telling me. And so I did it. I paid him 100% upfront. And after the very first week, I saw why he needs that. Because basically, I mean, with a few alterations, he came up with this design like right away. And so as soon as I saw it, I was like, of course. So I could, you know, be like, oh yeah, so never mind. I'm not really feeling it. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm good. You just keep the deposit and stuff. And I could have stole the design. So that's why it's 100% up front. But he's been an amazing guy. 100% recommend him through and through. He designed the logos for the buckets as well that you guys will see. even though those are going to be changing a little bit. So highly recommend the guy. And it's, let me just go ahead and give him, and just in case any of you guys, and then we're going to get to all the gardening stuff, but just in case you guys are needing any logos or graphic designs, let me see real quick here. Now, of course, I can't find them here, but let me see here. Gotta find them. So we're going to following, and let's see here. Gary. Here we go. This is the guy right here. So if you guys need any design work, you can hit him up and you can tell him that the Vikings sent you. He will know exactly who you're talking about. And his work is amazing. Check out his page. And I was, reserved. I haven't mentioned his name or anything this whole process because I wanted to make sure it was a positive experience. But man, it was awesome. But he's not super responsive to emails. I had to hit him up with like 3 or 4 different emails for like 3 weeks before, being like, hey, are you for hire? I want you to do my thing. And then he was like, yes. And then it's all professional and stuff, but I cannot recommend him highly enough. Okay. Super easy to work with, super cool guy, and super happy that I did it. Okay. So let's see here. Ooh, Taylor Reindels, a member for 6 months. We've been doing memberships for 6 months already. In my mind, it's still like 2 months old. You need the new sticker. Yes, you can get one. Let's, I'm trying to figure out how we're going to make it happen, but we'll have many different kinds of stickers because I just think that's an awesome logo. I mean, as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, it just is everything that we want. And it also encompasses my other channel, Nate Murray, the Thrive channel, with the lotus, and the whole thing is just perfect. I mean, yeah, it was awesome. So, and he didn't just come up with it. I mean, he sent me this huge questionnaire. I basically wrote him like a book explaining the whole philosophy behind what I'm trying to do and in the future, what it's going to be like. And I wanted it to be clean. I wanted it to be nice and clean, easy to read, and, probably going to put it on like a hat, like some merch, stuff like that. So we'll see. Wayne Caroli, yes, hit up the website, my friend. The buckets of the fertilizer, yes. But then they have the logo on them. I don't have them with me right now, but we will in the future. Okay. Yes, exactly. And so the logo it did have the center. This is basically the original thing. But then I was like, maybe take down, the original one was without the lotus petals in the middle. It was just the little sprout. And it looked really good, but it was like you didn't really see the sprout in it. It was, you had to really look for the sprout, which is cool, but I need people to immediately recognize, oh, that's a flower and a Viking helmet. So there it is. And then we got a Venice Weeks, $20 Australian. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that at 9 o'clock in the morning. Thank you for that. So I don't see a question or anything, but I just appreciate the contribution. Yeah. Let's see here. So a lot to talk about, guys. Can we get the OG stickers with our bucket order? I'm not sure how I would do that exactly. If you're one of the OG people that have been requesting it, I think you are, then let me know. I'll just put one inside the bucket when I pound on the lid, because I do them all by hand. I mean, it's pretty organic. So maybe I'll just throw them in there. I'm not sure how they'll survive in there, but we'll see. One way or the other, we're going to be getting them to you guys. So check this out, guys. So this year we did not trim the onions. Remember, we were doing it, and I was like, I've never not trimmed them. Well, I mean, I have, but then they become a big pile of spaghetti mess. Okay, and so this year we've got the growing system down. We've got the nutrients down. We've got all the stuff down pat. And so for that reason, they grew really, really well. Now, we were planting them yesterday, and you can just kind of see here that you see how thick they are. Now, this is kind of falling over because it's been since yesterday, but It's nice and thick and rigid, and look at these roots, super healthy, super ready to thrive, and not at all falling over. So these have been real nice and to plant. Now, when we planted them, even though I'm actually going to take this one off because look, everyone's like, why do you got that thumbnail? You know, a big long thumbnail. Because you can just go like that with surgical precision. Okay. So these are going to be really good when they catch hold. These are going to catch hold and grow in no time. So we planted them. You only want to plant them like as high, as deep as it needs to hold it upright. Okay. That's all the really deeper you want to plant it so that the soil will settle and stuff. But I've seen a lot of people want to bury them up to here like this. You will have problems. Now, the people that when they plant them, they bury them like that because they're flopping over. Just trim them. If they're not grown well enough that they're flopping over, just trim them off. They'll all grow back. Okay, I could, if I wanted to, I could take this thing, cut the whole thing right there. Look, you see, I could cut the whole thing right there, or one above that little new growth shoot. Cut them right there, and I could prune the roots as well. I could prune them right here even, and that would be a nice little stout slip if I had to transport them. I have found better. You can root prune them, no problem. I found they take a bit quicker if you don't root prune them entirely. So I just kind of twist them like this and stuff them into the hole like that, and then pack the earth around them a little bit. So we still did the board method, even though it's not as necessary now that the soil is so light and fluffy, because the board method was more for the no-till, like absolutely no-till. Even though we still did it, it was not nearly as required, because before the soil was very hard. Even after several years of no-till, it was still very hard. You couldn't put your finger in it and then plant an onion. No way. And so we would do the board method, where we put the boards down, lay these down like that, and then fill the space in between the boards with the compost. All right. And then after the onions establish, in about 3 to 4 weeks, we take the boards off and replace them with grass clippings. When we take the boards off, we've got like these, it goes flat where the board was, raised a little bit where the channel was, where the onion is, and then back down flat. Now, when you water that with the watering wand, you'll knock all that soil down. It just knocks down, and the onion is basically left at ground level. I mean, it's amazing. And that's how you have really good onions. The people that bury them like this, they are the people that you see doing all these other techniques post-planting, to where you have to spoon the onions. When I saw people spooning the onions, I'm like, man, that is, and I've done it too. I did it too years ago before I really learned. I was out there, moving the soil around each onion so that they could get bigger, because they were getting like so small. So you got to take a spoon and go around each onion to try and scrape away some of that earth so that they'll grow properly. But then I just found out, well, if you can just plant them so that you don't need to do that, like this is perfect, then it's just going to sit. Watch my videos. It's just going to sit on top of the soil. The video where I showed how to do the board method, the short, of course, got 9 million views on Instagram. 9 million views. I got like 70,000 new followers from that reel. It was insane. So, okay, let us see here what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Now, Pepper Gardener. Okay, how long do you harden off the onions? Now, I don't actually. So onions are one of the things that they're incredibly hardy, for one, but for two, you don't leave them out overnight. Okay, when you're hardening them off. So you only take them out during the daytime. Now, I only put them out maybe 3 or 4 days at the most. But my setup is really on point, meaning that I've got the real nice intense grow lights. I've got these from the recent video. I've also got some other ones downstairs, the Mars Hydro 3000, that are way totally overkill for seed starting. But since I have it, we can just crank up the horsepower, crank the juice up a little bit, and it makes them grow. Remember, guys, light is the only actual food for the plant. Light is the equivalent of calories for us. Everything else is like a multivitamin. Okay, if you want to get big and strong, you can't. It doesn't matter if you take handfuls of multivitamins. You have to have the calories, good quality calories, and so it's the same way. Likewise, if you just have a bunch of empty calories and no nutrients, you're not going to thrive as well. So it goes hand in hand, but the light source, okay? So my light was intense enough so that last couple days before I put them outside, I cranked that light up to, 1,000 ppfd, and they're fully hardened off. I mean, there's no problem. But then, like I was explaining at the beginning of the video, you have to make sure that you look at the weather and you get a window like this. So we just planted them out yesterday and we got nice, cool, foggy, rainy, overcast. That's what we want. If I saw 8 days of just full blast sun, I would, I'd have to harden them off a lot more gentler, just a lot differently. Yeah. So is this thing working? Bobo Bob says, just wanted to say your seed tent setup is awesome. Built one just like your setups. Planted seeds this last Monday and seeds started sprouting within 48 hours. OMG, fantastic. Yes, good to hear that, my friend. So the key is the heat mat. The key is the heat mat. A lot of people are kind of, it's vogue now to kind of be against heat mats. But if you know how to use them, they are great. Heat mats are really useful. They speed up the sprouting of things by weeks. And in the case of things like peppers or ginger, they wouldn't even sprout without it. If I started peppers or ginger in my basement that's 55 degrees Fahrenheit, there is absolutely, the peppers would just rot, and the ginger would just rot as well, and has in previous years, until I learned that you want to crank that heat mat up to like 85 degrees, even 90 degrees, and they'll sprout within just a couple days. But then once they start to really emerge, you don't want to keep it there, because then that will make them real leggy. So either move it to a gentler heat mat at about 75 degrees or take them off entirely. And that will slow down the growth of them dramatically, but it will not, but they'll be nice and stout and compact. Okay, so let me show you. For example, this is what happens when you have a nice, cool kind of grow room. You see, so you can get trays like this parsley that is ready to go. I mean, it's bursting out of its cage, and these things are super healthy. They are just ready to explode. I mean, and in fact, some of them are starting to get a little hungry for nutrients, and I can tell. And they're getting a little bit, they're sort of starving each other out. But you can see here that they're nice and healthy, of course. But you see down here, let me see. This one is getting a little bit light colored, and this one here, the edge of that one here, I don't know if you can tell it. The edge of that one there is turning slightly, they're wanting some phosphorus, they're wanting some potassium, no doubt. They're wanting to get out into their own environment and spread them roots out, okay? Because look, they are just beginning, they're just beginning to poke out. That's not one, but see that one there. They're just beginning to poke out of their surface, okay? Or of their container. Now, let's see here. These things are, they're just gorgeous. So I love parsley. We use parsley for juicing. We use parsley for all different kinds of things, making a couple of really good sort of like condiment to go with meat. Oh my gosh, with the mortar and pestle, utilizing parsley and garlic and a few other things, absolutely delicious with any kind of grilled meats all summer long. All that kind of stuff will be available in the courses coming up this upcoming year, guys. So we're going to make it real easy. It's going to be like courses are going to be like, relatively cheap and easy to access. You guys will want to be a part of that ecosystem because it's going to be so much easier and more organized than just trying to learn things from random YouTube videos. The courses are just where it's at. So that's what I'm focusing my efforts on. Instead of starting the separate cooking channel, we're going to just be having cooking courses, available through gardenlikeaviking.com. Now that I know the language of website design and stuff, now that I know how to do it, it's easy. I can just rewrite it and direct it towards another a website, and so I can do whatever I want really with it. It's going to be just amazing. So I think that's the name of it. Chimichurri. Yes, right. Amazing. Val says, "Hey Nate, is that for all seedlings? After sprouting, turn the heat mat down." Definitely your cold hardy stuff. Definitely even tomatoes. So if you sprout them, you know, if we'll put it this way, if you put it at 75 degrees, you can just leave it the whole time. It will take longer though. But if you're like me and you want to really get the horsepower happening out of your growth, then crank it up to 85 or even 90 degrees. And then once they sprout and you see them leaves, once they start to develop their true leaves, then take it back down. Pretty much for all things except, okay, there's a couple of exceptions. All right. Now, one exception, let's see here. Queen RB, today, we're planting this parsley today. Camille's going to be here anytime, and we are planting this parsley out today. We're also planting the tango celery. We're also planting the giant red celery. And guys, if you don't know about parsley, you need to get on the parsley train. Juice the parsley. Parsley, beets, celery, green apple is our staple. I mean, staple. And so it is really powerful, really high in nutrients, good quality chlorophyll, blood cleansers, blood builders, all sorts of good stuff. You want to be juicing while it's here all summer long. So for about 3-4 solid months, we're heavily juicing. 3 months, really. We're juicing heavily, and it's just amazing. You feel fantastic. But we don't try and take it into the winter. We're not going to the store and buying stuff, and trying to keep those juices every single day of our life. It's seasonal, it's seasonal, definitely. Farmer Cheryl, yes, looking forward to fermentation in the cooking classes, hoping for a diversity of things to ferment, including kimchi, sauerkraut, water kefir, kombucha, etc. Oh, you are speaking my language. And me and Camille were just brainstorming yesterday how to structure some of these things, for the courses. And absolutely, as you guys know, we've been experimenting with so many different kinds of ferments this past year, and we're still eating them. They are phenomenal. And when I'm like, hey, what do you want for dinner tonight? And she's like, steak and ferments and rice. I mean, we eat that so much. So it's a nice red meat from Jerry, the beef farmer. If you guys want some of that good grass-fed, grass-finished beef, contact Jerry. He's in central Indiana. I highly recommend. It's well worth the drive to get some of the highest quality meat you can. You can contact him at batesfamilyfarm@yahoo, I believe, is the email. And so you can get on his list, okay? Because that's all we eat is that meat. And we got the whole freezer. Well, we did. We're burning through it pretty fast. We eat it like 5 nights a week, basically. But then supplemented with all the different vegetables and potatoes and sweet potatoes from the gardens. And the ferments have been amazing to just have some good, clean beef, some white rice, and a few different ferments. Fermented beets with thyme, a curried daikon, radish ferment. It's so good, guys. And you can tell that the body wants it. It's like the body really wants it. So now I was talking to Val about something. Oh, these are the only things that will remain on the heat mat. Okay, so let me. Absolutely, Jeffrey. Parsley is loaded with vitamin C and all different kinds of high quality nutrients. So it's something you definitely want to incorporate. I don't know exactly, Teets. What are the possibilities of lives on the website? Yeah, yeah. What I found is a lot of other people, they call what we're doing here, they'll call it a workshop, and they'll charge each person like $20 to be a part of their workshop, and it's just different. Everyone's got to, if you want to do it full time, you got to make money somehow. So, but these will always remain exactly like this. So, because this is like my favorite part of the week. So look here, Val, this is the thing that we want to make sure that we can leave on the heat mat. Okay. So Guys, this new method of the sweet potatoes is just pretty much ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And so you can see here that they are thriving. And so let me just move this over here like this. Now, the sweet potatoes, you can you guys still hear me, right? Because this microphone is mobile. So the sweet potatoes, guys, are just growing out of control, okay? I started them way too early because I thought that they were going to be like regular sweet potatoes in years past, where they take like a month or 2 months to break dormancy. These broke dormancy in like a week. They were sprouting. And so now we've just got tons and tons of them. And so here's what you do. You basically just cut the vines as they're growing, all right? And root them into the water like this, okay? And they root very quickly. And then after they root, then we are going to just take them and put them into these Bootstrap Farmer trays. All of you guys, if you're going to invest in trays, invest in the Bootstrap Farmer ones. Use the link in the description to get them. I get a small kickback, but it's a win-win. You guys get the highest quality stuff. I'm just thrilled to be working with these guys, seriously. And you know I don't say that lightly. But if you have to buy equipment and Bootstrap Farmer has it, invest in that. They have tons of other things now, not just the pots, which I will show you guys here in a minute. 2 of these things that are just amazing, have blown my mind. But so use the link to get any of that stuff, all right? Or solo cups, whatever you got, whatever your means is. You can use solo cups as well, but you root them. And so this is my first year doing it this way, to where I'm actually going to root them in the soil first, and then I'm going to plant these out all over the place. Although I'm positive it's going to work just fine. I really am. But usually I would just plant them out like this, and they take a long time to sort of recover and stuff when you plant them out like that. Let's see here. The Napkins LOL says, is Bootstrap stuff worth the extra cost? That depends. I mean, if you're limited on funds, then solo cups will work. If your overriding factor is limitation of funds, then there are other methods. It's not going to make you grow any better. So be clear on that. But if you're like me and you are into gear and you use it year after year, and you like stuff that has been engineered with the gardener in mind, or whatever your purpose is, then you're going to be like, oh yeah, if I'm going to spend money, I'm not just going to continually spend more money on more solo cups and have them all over the yard looking like bits of trash and everything. I'm going to invest in these, and I'm going to use them year after year after year. And they're going to look good, and they're black, and they kind of vanish when they're outside, and they just look professional. The whole thing just looks cleaner and better, and they function better. They do. So yes, the anything that Bootstrap Farmer is selling is of the highest quality. I mean, really, as far as anything that I've seen. And so I would say yes, absolutely. In particular, look at this, guys. They now, as you guys know, I had an amazing career in Northern California as a grower there. Okay, and so my life, like, I was all about, foliar sprays. I mean, I have had every type of pump that you can imagine, because basically every day I had to go out and foliar spray, acres, what would equate to a couple of acres of canopy. And so I've used all different pumps under the sun. And this thing, as soon as they sent it to me, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. How have I never seen this? They're made in Poland, okay? So they're not no Chinese garbage. They're made in Poland, and you can just tell right away that it is a very high quality. And the pumping system, the extra long hose, this thing's telescopic, all right? And it's got a pressure release valve here for it, and it's got a thing to make it steady on the base. You can just tell. I mean, I could tell the moment I pulled it out of the box. I was like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. Now the flip side is it's like $120, Okay, I mean, but you pay for the quality. So that's the thing. You can either get a new one every year of the $25 ones from Menards. You can get one, it'll break as they do, you know, they're disposable basically. You can get one every year, you know, or you can get this one and you can have it for years, you know, and it can function better and it can just feel better. So yeah, that's my thought on a lot of that, you know. And it came with this thing. Anyone that comes with this thing, you know it's for serious greenhouse applications. You know how many times I could have used this thing in California? Not so much anymore because I don't use those kind of things. But if I was in California, I could be, you can spray one individual plant with something instead of trying to get your overspray all over the place. So you can use this shield to just spray one infected plant, which would have been amazing to have that capability. But I didn't, of course, at that time. They also got this little one. This thing, guys, I mean, it feels like a Cadillac, okay? And this is not like a Bootstrap Farmer channel. I'm just saying that if, you know that I don't like promote gear unless I believe in it. It's got this nice brass weight to make sure that it always stays down here. And it sprays super nice and easy, like a Cadillac. I like it. So I would say yes, unless you don't have the funds. In which case, do you need it? No. So there we go on that. Matt Wares, how do I get rid of ads in the live stream? You have to get YouTube Premium. That's the only way. Because remember, guys, YouTube has changed. So even if I don't monetize it, then they'll say, oh, that's fine. Well, we're going to put ads anyways, and they'll keep all the money. So you just got to deal with it. It's part of the free education. You know what I mean? So it's because how could we expect it to be totally free? You know, that you're paying for the service by getting the ads. You know, that's how it goes. So it's nothing else is like free. You know what I mean? My philosophy on all that is having to change because the courses, I'm actually going to be advertising the courses through Facebook targeted ads. Yes, maybe even YouTube ads. But I'm having to learn that whole ecosystem, how all that stuff works. It's like collegiate level courses trying to understand all that stuff, but I'm doing it. And so the courses will be promoted via Facebook targeted ads. Yes. And maybe even some YouTube ads. Yeah. I might even put them on my own videos. Who knows? Because it's like, well, if you're not making money at it, guess how long you're going to be able to do it? Well, not very long. So let's see here. Yes, Sam says, Nate, if we use the Bootstrap links in the description, will that give you the kickback? Yes, use the links in the description, definitely, to get anything that you want of there, okay? Yeah, tell me about it. Napkins. I made a video when I first started the channel of how I was doing it at that time because I had zero money to invest. And I would just get a stack of Solo Cup and I would put a piece of coat hanger. I would clamp it into the vise, take the blowtorch and get the coat hanger red hot, and then just take the whole stack and go choop, 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 pull it out, choop, 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 like that. And just put 2 holes in them. I mean, just like that. So it works good, yeah. But they fall over and so they're a mess. They're just a mess. Queen RB, a fellow gardener wants 50 sweet potato slips. Not sure I can get that many, but I'll try. You definitely can. You definitely can. Especially when you remember, guys, that you can take the vines, let them grow long, okay? If you want to get the maximum, watch. If you want to get the maximum amount, okay, let them grow nice and long. Look how long this thing is, okay? And you can take this and let it grow even longer. Like I'm talking from the potato, let it get like 6 feet long. And then you can cut it here and you can root that, okay? You can stick that into soil. So anytime now I can cut this and it will become a whole nother one. You can cut the vines up, okay? So let me show you guys something here. Hopefully you can still hear me. Nod your head if you can hear me, because I got to walk over here into the other room and grab a couple of things. And one of them is going to be this sweet potato slips, okay? Then I'm going to grab you a couple of these potatoes that have been chitting for some time now, and they're looking pretty good. Some of my favorites. So look, guys, here's what I did with the sweet potato slips. So even, and look, this is how amazing they root. So look at this. I'm talking just the tiny little tip. So if you just want to take a tiny little tip with one leaf and some stem, they're rooting. Okay, they're rooting. It's been like a week and a half or something, and every single one of them is rooting. Okay, and look, that was just the tiny little tip. That's all I did. And this will become a whole new sweet potato mound. They're amazing. Sweet potatoes are amazing. So you can just do that. You could take the tips off of all those. We could double them all right now. They're amazing. So we're going to plant them here in this garden all over the place. We're going to plant them out at the Viking North garden, which is going to be amazing this year. All kinds of good stuff for you guys to see. So let's see here. And career. Yeah, I know. B. Hendricks. Let's see here. The Taylor Reindl, $10, says, thanks for the new video. Yes, you are very welcome, my friend. The video, yes, about the wood chips. That video did pretty good. Lots of controversy, apparently, you know, but that's my experience with wood chips. And so take it or leave it. The thing is real. You'll hear a lot of people talk about, no, they don't tie up nitrogen. They do. They do. And but see, in the comments, like controversial type videos like that, you get all the scientists that come out into the comments, and they want to tell you exactly what they think is happening on a molecular level with this type of certain microbes is facilitating this, and so this is actually what's happening. But it's all like, okay, but I don't actually think you're growing anything. I think that you're a scientist, a book guy. You know, I mean, it's kind of like, it's just like I've realized in my life, guys. Okay, so there's book smarts, all right, but look, if you understood the exact chemistry that was happening behind these acrylic paints versus oil-based paints and their exact scientific interaction with the canvas, this type of canvas works molecularly this type of way. Okay, you understand all that, but does that mean you can paint a masterpiece? No, it doesn't. But someone can paint a masterpiece that has no concept of any of that because they intuit all of that. It just comes to them in some way. So that's an analogy of how it doesn't really matter if you're trying to understand all that scientific stuff and endlessly debate about all the little tiny minutiae of stuff. Okay, well, let's see your plants. What's your experience like? Okay, let's bring it back to our experience. And so my experience is exactly what I share on this channel, and that's good enough for me. So people don't want to try to, you know, enlighten you with the science behind it, but what they really want to do is just debate. And so that's oh yeah. So that's my opinion on that. You know, Donald Hughes, Bootstrap Farmer is a game changer. You can even step on them without hurting them. Absolutely. I've got stacks of them in the basement. I felt just kind of silly in the years past with those flimsy tomato trays. Pick it up and just collapses and it breaks, and now it's broken. Okay. And even they're like $3.50 now, you know, as opposed to like $5 for the really good Bootstrap one. So let's see here. How far behind am I on this chat? Big West, are you talking about this sprayer 2 gallons? Yes, this thing is 2 gallons, 6 liters basically. I can guarantee you I'm going to be using that thing constantly. Yes, AK Froggy, and you will be. Yeah. Make sure you do that so that you can take any form of revenue from the content creator. Thank you. I'm just giving you a hard time. It is, oh, Matt Wares. It says, I watch enough YouTube, so maybe it's worth getting premium. Dude, if it's that it was like the best thing I ever did. I mean, when I was still watching YouTube with ads on it, it's a nightmare because it's like you're trying to focus on something and all of a sudden, bzz, and then an advertisement comes in, whoa, and it breaks your train of thought. It trains your mind to be fractured. So now, once I've got YouTube Premium the past 3 years, it's like a whole different world. I don't see any advertisements ever. I don't have a TV. I don't listen to the radio. And so I don't ever see, I have like an advertisement free lifestyle. I forget which one of you helped me coin that. Well, you coined it, but an advertisement free lifestyle. That's an amazing term. And that's what we're cultivating. Definitely. It helps. It just gives you more mental peace. It really does. Did you guys see someone walk back there? I don't know. Let's see here. Mississippi Soldier says, some of my potatoes haven't come up yet. Some did. What should I do? You know, that just depends on so many factors, so don't worry about it for the most part. Here's the Austrian crescent potatoes. And you see what chitting them does? How if these were downstairs, they would have long, white, spindly things 6 inches long on them already. And they'd be all shriveled up. But instead, they've got these nice, stout sprouts on them. And that is what we want. So this one, actually, I am going to cut. So we will, not right at this moment, but we will cut this thing. Let's see here, probably right here. Okay. Can you see? Because there is, that's dividing the line between several of the eyes on here. So there's several of them on this side, several of them on the other side. And we will cut that there. And that will make 2, but any smaller than this, and I pretty much don't cut them. Just because if you cut them, you definitely increase the chance of them rotting in the soil. That's my experience. Tony might have something else to say about that. St. Max, how to get that sprayer. I don't know if I put a direct link in the video description of this video, but you can go, the link in this video to go to the Bootstrap Farmer store, just go there through that link and type pump sprayer, and you will get it from there. And make sure you get it during that browser window, okay? But as soon as this is over, I'm going to go upstairs and put direct links to this stuff, because I will definitely promote these things. I mean, I am, there's no doubt about that, because I promote heavily foliar spraying. I mean, you know how good this is going to be? The main foliar spray that I will use is the bloom fertilizer, which is also a immunity fertilizer. The bat guano, seabird guano, earthworm castings, yes, that is about all that you need. That and the aerated compost tea is phenomenal. Do the aerated compost tea once a week, raining down on everything and the soil, and then do the guano foliar spray on the opposite end of the week. Midway through the time period, and that's all you need all season. You're good to go. You won't get diseases. You won't get hardly any pests. You won't get deficiencies, all that kind of stuff. So, thank you, VA. Mountainside says, Nate, what do you think is a good minimum spacing between garlic? Some of my garlic is a palm's width apart. Yeah, this year I did like this. So I did, what is that, about 10 inches, guys? Like that? I don't know, maybe 6-7 inches, like that, something. I did that space all the way around in each side, because we have the room, and we planted 3 beds of garlic. And so we did put about that far on each side. Now I have done it this close. If you have really rich soil, you can do it a palm's width, but you've got to have rich soil, because what will happen is that the roots, you can fit that many if you like fertilized heavily with the Viking granular nutrients, or you added a lot of well composted manures, or a lot of compost, almost like pure compost. Then you can do it that close, to where the bulbs are almost touching. But if you want to do it the other way, or I mean, if you want to make sure that if you've got a little bit of space, it's best to do it like that, because that's going to give them plenty of room to spread out their roots. Okay. Ooh, Teets, nice. I got YouTube Premium at your suggestion. The ad-free lifestyle was from a live game changer for me. Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Oh, I didn't know that. Definitely didn't know that. Oh, Celtic says playback speeds higher than 2 has changed my lightning fast ADD brained life. You play videos higher than 2 times? That's amazing. Ha, nice. Yeah, that's pretty much the quality. Nice. I like that all you guys are got the premium. Lisa says I got YouTube Premium. It's awesome. I watch it hardly anything else. I know. Why bother with anything else? St. Max Media. I have exactly experience with wood chips as yours. Covered my garden with a foot of chips and nothing is growing there. I know. I know. It's the Paul, the Back to Eden guy. When YouTube was kind of young, he became mega famous in the gardening world for that whole thing, because one, he's a very charismatic person, and you want to like him. That is a big part of it. And so it's I'm listening to what he's saying, and it's a real positive attitude and everything. So, and then you look at his plants. Oh, they're beautiful. And so a lot of people think that wood chips are like some kind of growing medium, and I'm not talking about everyone. I know that there's exceptions. I know that. But I have seen a lot, and I have done a lot as well. And wood chip gardening, pretty much all the ones that I've been a part of and seen, with rare exceptions, the plants are just starved. Even if they're surviving. See, that's a big thing as well. When you read through comments and stuff, like on that new video, a lot of people are like, well, I use wood chips and everything's fine in my garden. Well, okay. Now, fine, define fine. Okay. Because to you, defining fine might be your tomato plant is alive and there are some tomatoes on it. Hey, but that's just what they're used to. Just like a 3-foot tomato plant, a dozen little tomatoes on it, another little plant over here that's got a few tomatoes on it. Everything's fine, in my wood chips garden. Okay, but that's not, to me, I'm talking about, your tomatoes should be like 6, 7, 8 feet, Jurassic, thick stalks, huge tomatoes all over the place, that would just collapse if it didn't have like a solid structure, like Jurassic. They need to be like really thriving and healthy. So for them to be like, well, everything's fine, I use wood chips. So you don't know what their baseline is that they're talking about. That's the thing. So you always have to keep that in mind when you're reading people's advice, or you're reading blogs, or you're reading comments, mostly comments, because blogs, a lot of times people at least have an idea of what they're doing because they're writing about it and all that stuff. Comments can just be blah, 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 even though they've never done anything. You know what I mean? You could be extolling the endless virtues of electroculture and all the magnificent things it does, but yet you live in an apartment in the desert and you have a couple of potted plants on your balcony, and that's what you're talking about. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to, and you never know that just from the comments. So that's one thing, and I'm acutely aware of that because I get a lot of comments, and most of them are awesome. I want to be very clear about that. Most of the comments are awesome. I mean, the tribe is awesome. All you guys are fantastic. So there's no doubt about that. So let's see. Andre says, should I repeat the same soil preparation process now? Loosening with the broad fork, fertilizing with manure, and covering it, even though I already did it in the fall. I would, yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's good. You do it in the fall. Great. I would broad fork it again, definitely. And but I would put the manure down first, broad fork it, nice, maybe even once in each direction, and checker the pattern, and then rake it out real nice so that it's smoothed on top, and then cover it. Yes, definitely. I would. So you guys know that I tilled heavily here last year after the first time in 5 years. And I knew in my gut that it was going to be amazing. It was going to work, of course, but wow. It was like, it's been like turning a compost pile. You know how in a compost pile you'll have like the composted center, which is great, but then you'll have like outlying things that that are not even composted at all. But then you turn it all and everything like, oh, gets revitalized and sort of breaks down. That's exactly what the soil is like. It is all just like got oxygenated and life is just exploding. Everything's totally decomposed, rich black soil. It's just amazing. So it's very much like it feels like when you turn the compost pile. Now let me see here. Thank you, Gary Smith, my friend. Let's see here. Gary Smith, $30 says, nice sticker. Thanks for all you do. Yes, my friend, I want to make sure you get some of those sometime. And thank you for the consistent contribution. Definitely. I need to go through and change all those links, though, to my, well, I'm not sure how that's going to work, actually. I had to set up, guys, there's so many steps that you have to do to set up like a website and stuff like that. So, you know, and payment forms and all that. It's just crazy. But here, I want to check out. Okay, so I just got this. I forget what it even is. It's from Gurney's. It's one of those things that you order like months ago and they ship it at the right time. I just got it like 20 minutes, well, right before I started. So let's see what it is. Okay. And so for any kids watching, you never cut towards you, okay? Unless you're very, very seasoned with the knife. Then it's kind of acceptable, okay? So you just want to make sure that you never cut towards yourself with a knife, especially when it's razor sharp as this K-bar. Now let's see here. Okay, thank you. Yes, no problem. So it is the, ooh, horseradish. Okay, it's the horseradish root. Oh, what? That's all it is? Horseradish roots. This was like $30, I think. Well, okay. Guys, let me know. I don't have a lot of experience growing horseradish. I really don't. But we're going to grow it this year. Not here at this garden, because I do know it's a perennial, or it's a, yeah, perennial, and that it spreads and stuff. So we're going to put it in its own secluded spot out at the Viking North plot. But I just want to make sure that it grows really well. They feel good. They feel. I've gotten some horseradish before, you know, from the store, and the roots were like, they felt like they were made of styrofoam and they just never grew. I think they were just totally dead. This feels plump and hard and full and like there's life in it. So do you guys have any recommendations for growing horseradish? Even though I don't have any doubt that you just apply the same techniques and the same philosophies to any plant that you do, and they grow wonderfully. So we know that. So let's see what you guys are talking about. $5. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, here's to all the haters in the comments legitimizing your game. I know. Yes, definitely. I know. And it's almost like, oh, okay. So should I make more controversial topics? You know, should I become one of those guys that is the making the, it's part of the nature of this platform though. You know, it's part of the nature of this platform, and people want to click on that. What? Wood chips are overrated. Blah, 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 blah. You know, if I had a more sensible title, you know, like, well, wood chips often work, but there's a spectrum of possibilities, and this is one of them. You know, they'd be like, wah, wah, nobody cares, you know? But it's like, wood chips are overrated. Use this instead. Oh, whoa, what? Okay. So that's just how it works. You know, you can't be like, well, in gardening, there's a spectrum of possibilities and they all work good, but I'm using this one. You know, like, oh, that's boring. You know, so yeah. Okay, so this is what I hear from a lot of people. It says, I grew horseradish last year in a container and thought I got all the rhizome, but it's starting to come back already. It's in a similar family as to dandelion, is that right? And so like dandelion, if there's even a chunk, then it will grow back from that. So perhaps this is like the same, you know? CyberSearch says, my dad grows horseradish and he's not really a serious gardener. So I imagine it can't be that hard. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it's not very hard to grow. Keith Scott says, garden like I know it depends on the area treated and how often, but how long will the granular fertilizer last? Okay, so I'm going to modify the website and put those instructions a little bit more. But the thing is, you know, people want a cut and dry thing, okay? Which I also have to provide, which I did. If you look, and I just updated the website this morning with a picture of the label, a clear picture, the actual file of the label, so you can see exactly what's in it. Except I didn't put the non-plant food ingredients in it, you know, but I'll modify that. But the and you can see the application rate. So just de facto, we'll say 2 tablespoons per gallon of soil. Okay. And now the application rates is where everything gets really tricky. Okay. Because if you use something that's even remotely comparable would be Mr. B's green trees. Okay. You guys, a lot of you guys know that stuff. Now that stuff, okay, comes in a 40-pound bucket like that, and you have to use 1 cup per cubic foot. Okay, not cubic yard, cubic foot. Okay, so for my 4 by 10 by 1 bed, I would have to use 40 cups of green trees, and they say apply it every 4 weeks. Okay, so it's like, well, green trees is only $190 a bucket, $190 a bucket. Well, yeah, but you're going to need like 4 times the amount. I mean, huge application rates, but also they're marketing towards very aggressively grown plants, if you know what I mean. But that, you know, that could consume those nutrients. But so for mine, for that same 4 by 10 bed, you could get away with 2 quarts, okay, which is 8 cups, right? Or 3. You know, the maximum that I put in a 4 by 10 bed will be 3 quarts of it. Okay, so I mean the rates are so subjective, and because it depends upon what you have to begin with, and this is true for any fertilizer. Okay, it depends on what you are starting with. So if, like here in my garden, if the soil's already like rich and beautiful and black and full of life, got good soil aggregation happening, lots of organic matter, lots of clay as well, but it's all been incorporated with the organic matter, you know, and it's all aggretized, if that's a word, then you can get away with much less. All right. But if it's if you've got poor soil, you need to be on the higher end of it. And definitely if you're growing in soilless growing medium, then such as peat moss and perlite, that kind of thing, or cocoa coir, then you need the maximum amount. All right. But this stuff will work really good even with that, because it does have Rhizophagus enteridices. Yes. The only real strain of mycorrhizal fungi that you'll need, you know, as far as if you don't have any others, or if you're not making any other brews. I had to put that in there, even though it's super expensive to source. I had to put that in there so that even if someone's growing in a soilless growing medium, where just like peat moss and perlite, you know, basically sterile, and they're just going to use Viking granular and water, it has to work still. And so this solution will work even for that. But if you've already got thriving soil, you could get away with less if you wanted to make it stretch. But here's the thing, you can't burn the plants with it. I mean, you could if you were growing, I mean, don't get insane with it. But even if you used, you know, so let's say like a 30-gallon grow bag. Okay, so I'm going to do ginger this year. Oh yeah, let me show you the ginger. So I'm going to do ginger this year in 30-gallon grow bags, just because it's worked so well. I mean, I've grown ginger for many years now, and once I started growing it in grow bags in the shade, pretty much, they only get like 3 hours of direct sunlight a day. The rest is shade. Once I started growing it in that setup, then it was phenomenal. Then I've just had amazing success with ginger. But here's another thing that I was doing is keeping it really, really well fed. Okay, ginger is super hungry. And so in that 30-gallon grow bag, I'm probably going to put a whole quart of Viking granular. Okay, so that would be, I mean, that's quite a bit. I'm going to put a whole quart in that thing. And then I'm going to top dress one other time in the season, probably with that. All right. So here is the ginger. This is how mine looks right now. It's a little bit scraggly. It's getting too much light. I can tell it's getting too much light because the stuff is not liking all the light. There's no doubt about that. So I'm going to have to do something about that. The only downside to these lights with this is in that setup that you guys saw me make this year. The only downside is that those lights are not adjustable. And so you have to adjust them with the height. And ginger does not need a lot of sun. And so I've got them adjusted. I've got them like high already. So I'll have to raise them a little bit more, but you can just tell that they're, see how they're kind of cupping upwards. Part of that is how ginger looks anyways, but they are a little bit, they're like trying to get away from the light. So you can just see there. And I'm going to have to take care of that in some way because they're not going to like that. Let's see here. Now, Donald Hughes, now what do you mean when you say it'll take over? I mean, will it take over like morning glories or something, just something sinister like that? Or will it just like spread a lot? Yeah. Let's see. Chroma Spellbreaker, $2. Thank you, my friend. Says, on average, how much do you spend on your garden? That is a great question. And that is a thing that we discuss heavily here. Now, okay, so it depends. It greatly depends. 6 years ago now, 7 years ago, when I was coming back from the mountains and I had zero money and I had to grow my own food. So the limiting factor was money. So it had to be as close to free as possible. So you grow in a certain way. You use solo cups, or you just direct seed a lot of things. You use shop lights, okay? You use free pallets that you get, and you make your beds with free pallets, of course. And you got little bits of plastic sheets and stuff like that, little buckets and implements from recycling bins and stuff like. You make pots out of recycling containers and stuff like that. And it all can work, okay? It all can work. And it's very cost effective. And you're brewing anaerobic fertilizers in the JDOM style, okay? So JDOM as a system is as close to, it's the lowest cost of any system that there is. And it all works. You grow food, definitely. But there's downsides to that for sure. One of them being that the whole garden just looks like trash. It literally looks like there's just trash everywhere. Even though they're grow pots and stuff like, and tools, and it just looks like total trash. Which is fine if you don't got no money. Then you're like, well, whatever, I'm growing stuff, so who cares? So, and that's perfectly fine. You can do it very, very little. But then as time has progressed and I've got back on my feet and the enterprise is sort of working now, then it's the focus now is more about growing the highest quality stuff, the most nutrient dense, highest quality, best plants that I can in a very efficient manner. Yeah, in a very efficient manner. And so therefore you spend more. You spend more because money is no longer the number one limiting factor. The guiding factor is high quality produce, nutrient dense food, growing as much of your own stuff as possible that you're consuming yourself. And doing it in such a way that is easy to incorporate into your life. Okay, so when you have no money and no like job at the time, then you can spend all day busting apart a pallet. Sure, but when you've got a lot going on, but you got money coming in, then you can just go to the store and spend $30 and get proper brand new 2x10s. And make these beds, $30 a bed. And so it's the time, okay, well, if you didn't have no money, then busting apart the pallets it is, okay. But if you do, and you want a higher quality thing, and you want just an easier thing and a cleaner looking thing, then you spend a bit of money. Okay, so I hope that that kind of clarifies it. So to be totally straightforward, I don't keep track of any of that anymore, because everything is for the business now. So it's all, one, I need tax write-offs, and for two, I need to experiment constantly. I'm constantly learning, constantly growing, constantly pushing the bounds of everything, distilling the ways. So money is not really a limiting factor to me anymore. It's not like what I'm thinking about. So there you go. There's my long-winded explanation of that. Okay. But I hope that it makes sense that it can be as close to zero, or it can be a lot. Although I don't unnecessarily, because I've cut through all the gimmicks. I know gimmicks, and I know where wasting your time on so many little gimmicky things and little waste of time products and little waste of time fertilizers. I know all of that already, so I'm not wasting any money. You know, everything is like focused. So, yes, I know. You can see the leaves curling up a bit. Definitely. Jason Hetty loves the Viking granular. Yeah, he was the first person to he came and visited me and bought a bunch of it. And so he drove a couple hours, you know, and it's good. It's good to meet face to face, you know? And so I was like, hey, you got a review that I can have? And so he said, yeah, sure. So, yep, he's on the website. Matt, only if, I would say no, absolutely not. Definitely not in our zone, because it will freeze. As soon as it freezes, it's done. It's dead. Yeah, Big Will Dog. So you guys are talking about mycorrhizal and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And you can make your own, or I mean, you can gather your own. You don't need to purchase mycorrhizal. Absolutely not. The only reason I did that, to include it into the mix, is to make sure that even in soilless growing mediums that were otherwise sterile, that there will still be that. That's why, because you have to have that, you know. So if it wasn't, then I wouldn't. Yeah. Okay, Richard Hoof, that's a great question. Let me put this ginger away real quick so it doesn't cool off too much. So, do you fertilize a rye cover crop? You can, but you shouldn't really need to. Now, the thing about that, now I don't know what method you're going to use to terminate it. So what method, hopefully you've watched the videos I made a few years ago about cover crops and when to terminate them and how. And you will know that the heat-loving crops like tomatoes and peppers, they will, well, okay, let's see here. So if it'll be mature enough to terminate, so you're talking about terminating it with no-till method. Now, if that's the case, then you're going to be pushing it. I know. In northern Indiana, the rye is going to come into its milk stage at about the first week of May. Yeah, I mean, pushing it. I know. Ideally, you'd have like 3 to 4 weeks in between cutting it and planting. But that's not always the case. And so, but if you're doing green manure crop, then it doesn't matter. Then you can terminate it at any time if you're going to till it in. So that really matters. But yeah, if you want to fertilize the rye cover crop, yes, but that's not going to make it get to its milk stage any sooner. That's not going to make that happen. So, Camille, you down there? You want to come up here for a minute? There was somebody that walked in. Yes. Focus. Focus on what matters. Exactly. Yes, you're very welcome. So Ka says, Nate, I have a 5-gallon bucket of fish emulsion, 2 years old, stirred and has chunks on the bottom. Should I use brown sugar? Fish emulsion. So what do you mean by that? Do you mean like Jay Donsa? Did you make it yourself or what? Stirred has chunks on the bottom. Should I use brown sugar? No, don't be adding a bunch of other stuff to it. Just strain it out and use it as it is. Unless it's the J. Dom style. If it's just the water and the leaf mold, then you can just strain it off and use it then. But make sure you're not getting the J. Dom stuff on the leaves, okay? Use it in the soil. But if you're talking about FAA, the fish amino acids, then you can spray it all over the leaves. They love it. Not a problem. So let's see here. We're going to actually give you guys a special guest. We're going to have her talk about her what she liked about the garden in the past year. Here, you can have a seat. So here we go. Let me just put this on for a minute. Yep. Here you go, guys. Here's Camille. She wants to, or I want her to talk for a moment about her hopes and dreams on the garden, what she likes about the gardening lifestyle, what she's looking for, what she's anticipating for the summertime. You can hold it if you want.
Yeah, that'd probably be better. Hi, guys.
Back up all right there. There we go.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. So, the gardening lifestyle. Well, I'm excited about this year, but we'll talk about last year. I would have to say the most favorite part I had was the tomatoes first and the peppers. Yes. I did not like tomatoes. Hi, everybody. I see you. I was not a tomato fan, but let me tell you what. After having the garden tomatoes, it was amazing. So this year, I'm just looking forward to, I would have to say, being a little bit more involved with taking it home. I'll let him do all the logistics of everything. Look at all that. Hi.
Yeah. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, super excited. And the sweet potatoes this year. I have to say, I'm really looking forward to a different harvest with those potatoes. They look so amazing right now. And the flowers.
Yes. And the chive blossoms.
Oh my gosh. The most delicate yet pungent, wonderful, wonderful little blessings. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Most people never had a real tomato. Yeah,
no.
She didn't like tomatoes before, did you?
No, my whole life I was not about them, but I'm so excited about the hillbilly tomatoes we're doing. First had those down at Jerry's, fell in love with those. And the ground cherries, I'm looking forward to that this year. And the strawberries. I'd have to say the hillbilly tomato.
Yeah, and we didn't even grow those last year. Jerry did.
Yeah. That wasn't something we grew. However, we did do sun-dried tomatoes. I love those. I love how we prepared those. All right.
Describe how we did them on the griddle. Remember?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Yes. We sliced those in half and fried those on the griddle. That was wonderful. I cannot describe the warm, juicy flavor those tomatoes had. I am actually really looking forward to more of that cooking this year outside on the griddle, setting up a little space out front for the outdoor kitchen, and really looking forward to some more beets on the griddle this year.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying the new Bettina beets, which are supposed to be really good, so we'll see that. But guys, look, this is sun-dried tomatoes and olive oil with some oregano. Now, the olive oil is obviously, in the refrigerator, but these things are amazing. These are the purple bumblebees. That we just slice, dehydrate, and then put into the olive oil. Super delicious. Very tangy.
Yes. This is sunshine in a jar right here. One of my favorite ferments. Every time I take a bite, it is like sunshine in your mouth.
It's wonderful. This is the curried kraut with raisin. There's and all from the garden except for the raisins, of course, and the curry. But going to be super good.
Yes. I love being able to have that throughout the winter because it carries the garden with you throughout the winter. And I'm excited for these courses for you guys so you get to experience all of this that we have here.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a feast of cooking all the time. It's just so wonderful. When the garden is in season, we can just walk out back and just, okay, well, let's see what we're going to have. And we just look and pick it and stir fry it and put it on the griddle, all different kinds of stuff. Yes.
I have not tried purple sweet potatoes yet. Oh, yum. You'll have to let us know how those are.
Yeah, because we tried the purple Viking potatoes, the actual potatoes, and I was just not into them.
No.
They're just kind of dry and flavorless and just kind of, we got a lot better space for a lot of other good tomatoes, such as the Austrian crescent potato that are super delicious.
Yes. And those, the Viking purple weren't the best, but I'm not biased here. How he prepares everything makes not the best very well.
Describe the greens.
The
grilled greens.
Oh, the grilled greens, the sauteed greens. My goodness, I can't wait for all of this to come back this year. Those are just so flavorful. They're so dense. It's very tender at the same time. It's the best to have with a big old piece of red steak.
Yes, definitely. Sunshine in a jar recipe.
Yes.
Oh yeah. That's all gonna come in the course, the fermentation courses. There will be just small courses. I got it all planned out. It's all planned out upstairs and stuff. What? We're gonna see about that. We're gonna have to see. Now we're gonna have to see about that. We need to eat one first.
Yeah, that's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Let's see. I think you've been recommending that for a while now. So I would like to get some seeds. Big Will Dog says, hold off on planting for a day or two. We got severe storms rolling through tomorrow. That is something that I'm not aware of, but it doesn't really matter to me. So let's see here. Sunday. So you're talking about Sunday? It doesn't say we're going to have anything here. I mean, we're about 2 hours north of you, but it looks like some thunderstorm, but I think we'll be all right. This is, this is Viking produce. This is going to absolutely thrive.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does.
Let's see here. Let's see. Okinawa sweet potatoes. Purple are great, but so hard to grow. Zone 200. Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've not tried the purple ones. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
What's up, Shooting the Soil? Yes, he's going to be on the show here in a couple of weeks. Next week, we've got Gary Pilarchik from the Rusted Garden. He's going to be on the show. Yep. So let's see here. Okay, yes, we will definitely try this. Thank you, Val. Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, UP. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Simon, what's up?
Bye, guys.
Okay, guys. So let me just there are a few more things that I want to talk to you guys about before we part. We got about 10 minutes, give or take, and I want to make sure that we get to talk. So, guys, you need to make sure that you are going to have your supplies ready for the upcoming season. Okay, and you know that I'm a huge proponent of the aerated compost teas. Okay, so look, it might seem complicated. All right, it might seem complicated because a lot of people have told me, that thing. When I'm like, are you guys doing the aerated compost teas? And they're like, oh yeah, that thing. It seems complicated. Blah blah blah. Like, no, man, it's actually really easy and it's very effective. So the thing, if you're doing in the 55-gallon drum, is you get the commercial grade air pump. Okay, this was like $30 or $40, and it's like 10 pounds. I mean, it's serious. It can run 24/7 for a long time. All right. Now, if you're only doing 5-gallon buckets, you get the small commercial pump. Okay, you get the small commercial pump. And look, if you watch my video, then you already know this. But here's how we do it. Okay. If you've only got a 5-gallon bucket for your garden, not a problem. You get the small commercial pump, and all this is in the Viking storefront, on the Viking Amazon storefront. And yes, it is much more powerful than the just regular aquarium pumps. And the main thing is that it can run longer and cooler and fat, and, easier. So you get that. This is for the 5-gallon bucket one. So you get this. You put all the tubes down like this, and you squeeze them all through a socket. That's what I like to do. This thing is on there for sure. And then you just drop this at the bottom of your bucket, and you see from each one of these is a different bubbler. So and the thing is bubbling like crazy. That's what you want for your 5-gallon bucket, okay? Simple setup. All you do is just put the ingredients into for your 5-gallon bucket, all you got to do is put the ingredients into one of these cheap paint strainers. You can get 3 of them for like $3 or something, or $1.50 even. They're super cheap. Put the ingredients into there, fill it with the water, drop your thing into there and turn it on and let it boil 24 hours. Let it bubble 24 hours. And there you go. You've got your amazing liquid compost. And that's what we're going to apply to the garden. Okay. You don't have to make it super complicated. Now, to those of you that have got the Viking granular nutrients, you can still, it's not necessary to do anything else. You can just use water. Yes. Now, can you enhance it? Of course. If you make a couple applications, especially when you first use it, if you make a couple applications of the aerated compost tea, you will definitely improve its functioning, its ability to become plant available. You have to remember that no amount of bone meal or alfalfa meal or blood meal, no amount of any of that, or manures or whatever, is immediately usable by the plant. It first all must pass through the soil food web. It has to be digested by the microorganisms. So if there's no microorganisms in there, really, then it's going to take a long time for it to become plant available. So what you want to do is you want to inoculate that soil. Just make sure that everything is at capacity with the aerated teas. And then they're going to be able to break down all of those components much easier, much better. Yeah. So it's going to be, it's a lot more effective that way. Okay. Everything is just more effective. And when you do it right, it's really the only fertilizer that you're going to need. Okay. Teats. Oh yeah, there's blackstrap in the tea. So just check out the video. Yes. And we're going to have, that's going to be a foundational part of the course and the courses are all distilled. I'm learning from all the questions I get from you guys and all the issues I see people having and the successes that they have and that I have, where those are at. So all that distilled knowledge, even distilled further, will be in the courses, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Ooh, thanks. Yes, Beck. I do the small 5-gallon bucket of aerated compost tea, and your video was super easy to follow. Great. Stephanie Stevens, I followed your directions last year. Yes, thank you. Yes, 5 gallons, definitely good. So yes, the Thrive Tribe. We will be doing the Thrive live tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time on the Nate Muri channel. We will be doing that. I'm not sure exactly what the topic is going to be. We'll see what comes to us, but it's going to be good no matter what. Shawnee Grow says, I like the idea of knowing what you want to create or cook with what you're planting. Question, is there a new food ferment dish you want to create this growing season? Ooh. Now, in particular, I mean, that's a great question, and we won't really know yet, but there's a couple of ferments, yes, definitely, that we're going to be growing things specifically for the ferments, for sure. But as far as the dish, I'm not really sure yet, because any dish that I would want to, we do. And so we're gonna see. We're planting 1 patty pan squash. So the past several years, we've planted 2 or 3 of the patty pan squash and just gotten tons and tons. These things get huge. All right. So in the new garden, we're not going to plant the white scallop squash, the Native American variety, because it just gets so massive. It gets like 4 feet tall and like 15 feet across, and just dozens and dozens of the patty pan squash. We just don't need all that. Okay. So the other one, the yellow marble or Patterson's yellow. I forget exactly the type, but it's the yellow patty pan squash. That plant still gets big, but not as big. It's more bushy. It's not as big. So we are going to plant just one of those. Yeah. And the patty pans are super good. Super good. Let's see here. And Mountainside says, you should do a video over the year of a bed with just the Viking fertilizer and a bed of just the compost tea and compare them over the growing seasons. It's true that would be good, except I already know exactly what the result of that would be. Just the compost tea would be perfectly fine. They'd be nice, healthy plants. But I know that adding some Viking granular is going to bolster everything, and just to make sure that it's as nutrient dense as it wants to possibly be, and that it will be able to defend itself. I don't have any room in this garden for any type of ill performing stuff. I need everything to perform at maximum capability. And so I already know, although it would make a great video though, but I just already know that adding the Viking granular, even to this thriving soil, even utilizing that stuff is going to do fantastic. In particular about things like sulfur, because a lot of you guys, if your onions and your garlic are just kind of not as pungent as you want, or if they don't store as long as you want, you have to look to sulfur. So your sulfur is probably off. So if you can use things that have high amounts of sulfur in it, that is what the Viking granular has, then that makes your onions more pungent and it helps them to store longer. And so those are all things that we wouldn't get. You wouldn't be getting more sulfuric elements from aerated compost tea or from compost, really. A little bit, but not so much. Yeah. Donald Hughes, when to start using compost tea? We will say pretty much at time of planting. Now, if you're questionable about the health of your soil, then you can do it before planting. Do a couple of applications, but no need. I would do it at time of planting, and then get it on a schedule once a week for the growing season. Or if you're not into it that much, once every other week for the growing season would be just perfectly fine. Yeah. So. Mo, I would say right now. So when do you recommend top dressing garlic in the spring that was started in the fall? Now, definitely. Just like a week ago, I pulled back the mulch of the garlic very gingerly and sprinkled down several quarts of the Viking granular nutrients. And so you can put on whatever fertility that you have, but put it on top and then put that mulch back down. Lightly sprinkle that mulch back down. But you don't want to do it if it's already coming up through the mulch. Then you miss that opportunity. But if it's not, then you should do it now. Okay. You could also take the mulch off very carefully, because garlic is hungry. Garlic is very hungry, so it will start yellowing and stuff if you don't do it with enough nutrients. You could, even if it's growing through the mulch already, you could carefully take it off, sprinkle or apply whatever fertilizer that you have into the soil, and then lightly sprinkle new straw down on top of it. Yeah. And just let it, but not nearly as much. It doesn't need nearly as much now that it's winter's done. So just enough to keep it moist. Yeah. That's another way you could do it. So, okay, guys. So if you, yes, I definitely will. Consider adding the link to your new website to all the video descriptions. I like that. I think I did in this video description. There should be, but I totally agree. So thank you for that. And guys, check out the Viking gardenlikeaviking.com. And even if you don't need fertilizer, just sign up for the newsletter, which will be not all that often, but just be part of the tribe. You got to do it. So because there's going to be all kinds of good stuff. Okay. And if you need some of that, remember, we ship on probably going to be Tuesdays and probably Thursdays while it's happening heavy, maybe Fridays. We'll see. But so just remember, you don't order it and then get it by 5:30 in the morning like it's Amazon. It's just me doing it all. So I will, we get it. We send them in the order in which we receive them. Okay. So, We will see you guys next week. Remember, do all your shopping through Amazon through the link in the description, okay? And that helps out the tribe. Next week is going to be Gary Pilarchik, I do believe. Either that or maybe it's David the Good. I think it's Gary. I would have to check. But I'll be promoting it midweek, so you guys will see that. Other than that, we will see you guys next week, my friends. We got to get to planting. Yes? PA Fish Preacher, pretty much. Try to find some onion slips. You will be able to find some. Try to find some. They'll sell them. Bonnie's now sells them where you can get, basically they'll look like this, except they'll have the roots cut and the top cut, and they'll come in a pack like that. Try to find the slips because it's too late to start them now. It wouldn't really work. So, all right, guys, thank you.